Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Hello. What's up? Hey, what's up next? Highlights. Everything's nerfed except Witch, so play Lich because Eternal Youth Node is OP as fuck. Lich looks awesome. And I have to say, I don't know what I'm playing. You know, ideally, I'm like everyone else. You know, Huntress is probably going to be, well, it will be the most popular played right off the get-go. I don't know if I want to play what everyone else is playing. Lich is going to be up there too. Any ES regen means you're immune to poison or any ES bypass. Yeah, I watched a video last night. Can't remember. Palstrom. And he was going on about the Lich Ascendancies. Really good video. Hey, Virgil, you're criminally insane, so you're going to be playing Warrior? They haven't addressed armor yet, so you are insane. It locks your life as long as you have ES. Yes, I saw that on the Ascendancy. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait for the patch notes, which looks like we're not gonna get till Wednesday. They said Thursday New Zealand time, so I believe that I suspect Wednesday late, maybe even Thursday morning. So if we get them Wednesday, then I'm gonna rely on you guys to kind of guide me in the right direction, get your input. Because right now I went into POB and there's nothing there for Lich. That's midday Wednesday. Well, that's if they stick. Jonathan, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, Jonathan didn't say, you know, Thursday 3 p.m. our time. He just said, you know, most likely Thursday New Zealand time. That's all he said, right? Unless I missed something. Yeah, but that's my point next, right? Like, I didn't know that until today. I'm like, you know what? Maybe we'll screw around in POB. I'll get chat to help me, and, you know, because this is what I'm thinking. One of the main reasons why, well, there's two reasons why I don't do builds myself. Number one, I'm not knowledgeable in it, but I want to become knowledgeable in it. So I started dabbling in it. But the other reason is it just does, for me anyway, and maybe I say this all the time, maybe it's something I got to get over. I feel like I'm boring chat by me looking at nodes. Oh, should I get ES? Or should I get spell damage? You know, like that kind of thing. So what I'm thinking is maybe prior to Friday, which, by the way, guys, I will be streaming. I'll probably get on an hour or so before it goes live. So I will be streaming it. Hopefully, there better not be any IRL. But that reminds me, I need to update the fam on this situation. But anyway, so I'm thinking when the patch notes come out, which means POB can get their info from the API, we can spend that time on my streams. I'd like to plan it out. This way I have a blueprint and I can kind of follow it. This way I'm not putzing around. I'm not putzing around as much, right? They're not even done with the patch notes. I know. Yeah, we're gonna get into that one. I want to hear everyone's discussion. Hey, what's up, Ben? What's up, Ben? I want to hear everyone's feedback on the interview because I know there's, as usual, there are a lot of takes. So yeah, hopefully we get into that tonight. We're just gonna screw around. I don't know what character I'm gonna log into tonight. Maybe I'll just I'll go on my explosive shot. This way I don't have to pay too much attention to the game. I don't want to get into some of my other builds that I've been building. Like, I think I have a warrior still in the campaign. We're gonna be running the campaign on Friday, Saturday, like, I don't want to. So maybe I'll just stick to the end game on my explosive shot and we can talk. So yeah, I watched the interview. I don't know. I just feel bad for everybody involved. It was the perfect storm. And I have to say, I've seen some of the comments from some, not all, content creators. I'm a little bit disappointed in some of the comments, and I'm not going to repeat them because I don't want to call anybody out, but a little bit disappointed. Like, what? I don't understand what people expected. Because, you know, some of the feedback that I've seen has been around the fact, you know, why. Well, first of all, Grinding Gear Games saying, I don't know, like that kind of thing. You know, they're up to their eyeballs. And today only reconfirmed my belief that they are. Look, it's already, you're already knee deep in shit with the game when you're building it, okay? If everything is copacetic and going, you're knee deep and you don't lack things to do. But when you fall behind like they did, in my opinion, and you still have that grind of having to continually, you know, bring content, updates, add more content, and plus you're behind, that's just a fuck you, you know, that's a fuck you sandwich. You know what I mean? Yeah, next. I have my notes, bro. I know. Magic Finest nerfed, Ingenuity Belt Heavy nerfed, no on death effect changes, still not getting quality in Ascendance. Minion and AI still dumb, no delving gems. Still have rare bosses being the only clear condition. Yes. Bosses' health have been reduced. Accessibility to pinnacles have been improved. Yeah, there was a ton. There was a ton, but I guess if I'm paraphrasing, a lot of the rhetoric has been, why did they ask so much detailed questions, you know? De-leveling gem? De-leveling gem. What's up, Dennis? They're dealing so much from a top level perspective that of course they aren't aware of the nitty gritty details. At least that's how everything played out with me. Hey Kira, totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. I'm reading chat. Whose channel was, oh, I was on DM's channel. So I'm reading chat as they're asking these questions, and people actually had the balls to say, how did they not even know the names of their stuff in the game? Oh my God, what an ignorant comment. What an ignorant comment. These guys know so much about their game, it's not even funny. With 4 billion items, mechanics, like there's so much in Path of Exile 2. How the hell, to your point, Kira, and welcome, by the way, to your point, there's so much going on. Like, give me a break. What an I swear to God, it took every ounce of me not to respond to that ignorant comment. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I saw it. It pissed me off. I'm like, are you kidding me? These guys are being so honest, and like, they're not sugarcoating anything. They're telling you like it is, and they don't mince words. They don't know. They say, I don't know. Or, you know, Mark said a lot of times during the interview, you know what? I don't remember exactly the details, but I'll go back and look at it. And if that's correct, what you're saying, then, you know, that kind of thing. Like, what's like, they're being honest. What do you want them to be, politicians? Gazzy DM didn't want to ask any questions that were covered by previous interviews. Or, of course not. No. So here's my take on this, okay? Which honestly didn't leave much to talk about other than pinpoint questions and trailer. It's even more simpler than that next, if you'll allow me to explain my thought process, okay? We get Dawn of the Hunt release, live reveal, right? Gazzy and DM are doing the interview on Monday, today. And so we get told during the live reveal, you know, we're getting Rogue Exiles, we're getting this, we're getting that, we're getting this, we're getting that, 7 new endgame maps. You can summon a boss 10 times, you know, 100 new unique items, on and on, Huntress, on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay? So now everybody goes into what? Everybody goes into, what build am I playing? Everybody goes into theory crafting. This is the nature of this community. Okay. Well, oh, and they look at the ascendancies. Oh, everyone looks at the Lich ascendancies. Oh, I wonder what, well, does that mean the ES with the mana? If you don't, you know, so they don't have the answers. The answers are in the patch notes. Okay. Now, we don't know when we're getting the patch notes. I'm talking prior to the interview today. So DM and Gazzy, to your point, they, as good interviewers, they go into interview mode on Friday, and they go on X, they go on Discord. Yeah, probably Discord, their prospective Discords. They go probably on Reddit, and they're like, okay, guys, we're meeting with Mark and Jonathan on Monday, as you guys know, on Tavern Talk. Submit your questions, okay? Now, what do you think the questions are going to be? We know on a high level what's coming in point 2, but we don't have the details. So all the questions come flooding. Now, I'm guessing, okay? I don't know behind the scenes what DM and Gazzy got, but I'm assuming by the questions they asked today, everybody wanted clarification on stuff that's going to be clarified in the patch notes. So DM and Gazzy did what they had to do. These were the questions their community and social media were telling them. Okay, there was a million other questions, but so naturally the community wants detail, micro, not macro. We know the macro. We know macro. Only thing we don't know is the micro, which is the patch notes. So they ask the questions that everybody wants to know. What's happening with the Lich Ascendancy? What's happening with the 3, you know, yada, 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 yada. So I don't get this. That wasn't the right questions to ask. Or how did Grinding Gear Games not know this, and that? Like, come on. All I want is the game to improve over time. I ask for nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, Kira, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Because a good indication of the future is what someone has done in the past. I've said this a million times in my videos. And Grinding Gear Games has a reputation of making good games. So you assume, built, you know, predicated on their past, that they're going to be able to do this in Path of Exile too. Now, off the gate, they stumbled. But you would suspect that they're going to recover from it. It's just going to take time, right? So, and this is where players divide. You have players saying, I don't give a shit. They've been developing it for 6 years. It's not early access. That's bullshit. It's just a money grab. The game, I want the game 100% good now. You have that player base. And then you have other player base, the other player base that's take your time, Grinding Gear Games. Cook, baby, cook. Take a year and a half. I just want the game when it comes out out of early access. I want it to be good, right? So, and this is where you get the back and forth. Gazzy literally spent a week with chat and other CCs, content creators. Yeah, I noticed even on DM, like he had there, you know, a Rax question. I think he had a Woody question. Like, you know, meanwhile, some people are crucifying them for asking stupid questions. And how dare you ask? It's not appropriate to ask detailed questions. It wasn't the right time. Grinding Gear Games has so much on their mind. Everybody, the one priority right now for everybody, if I had a quarter, if I had $1 for every time I saw patch notes on DM stream, I'd probably have $1,000 today. They also had called out a lot of patch notes stuff because we'll get that with the notes. They really wanted to tackle the outlier patch note stuff. Well, people want detail right now because we don't have it. Mage and Koba. None of these people complaining about questions could have done better. DM and Gazzy are vets. I totally agree with you. If I had it my way, like if I was controlling things, DM and Gazzy would be doing all the interviews like this. They're really good at it. DM, you know, Gazzy's good. DM is, I like when you're interviewing, the tone, the interviewer sets the tone, and Gazzy's very knowledgeable. So is DM, but I like DM's tone. I just like how he brings everything to a nice, easy conversation. Like he's really good at it, and he's very knowledgeable. So it's a really good combination. But I agree, DM and Gazzy, out of all the people that have interviewed Grinding Gear Games, like to me anyway, if I had a choice, they, you know, DM and Gazzy would be the ones. I think their choice to go into EA when they did was their biggest mistake. They jumped the gun on it. I don't think early access was the problem. I think what the problem was their choice of what they envisioned to start early access with. Their vision was to have the acts, all the acts in early access on December 6th. Well, it was supposed to be November. And then that changed. And they stopped working on the rest of the acts, and they concentrated 100% on Endgame, and they took everyone off PoE. And that's all because of the company I don't want to talk about and the disaster they had. And it probably even had a little bit to do with, no, LE was LE was in the first quarter of the year. So that they would have already known that. But that's where things shifted. Because my opinion is that they were going to have Acts 1 to 6 in early access on December 6th. They were working on the, 4, 5, and 6. And then, that game launched. It was a shit show. The end, people complained about nothing to do. And they're like, okay, we gotta, take away, and then they came up with the idea, let's just give Acts 1 to 3. Let's just double it up, make it cruel difficulty. We'll, change the number, make it a little bit more difficult. And they put all the resources on beefing up the end game. And it was quick. And it was, a couple of months before early access. That's why they delayed it 3 weeks, because they needed more time. And because it was rushed, we got what we got. I like Rax better, in my personal opinion. Yeah, Rax is good too. Yeah. I think they jumped the shark on trying to dictate a year of EA beforehand. EA will take as long as it takes, guys. You have to make sure free-to-play launches up to snuff to retain the new influx of players. Yeah, Kira, the problem... Yes, absolutely. See, the problem is you only get one time to make a first impression. And I hope I'm wrong in this case, because there's a lot of non-Path of Exile players that jumped on the PoE 2 bandwagon on December 6th and bought early access and played it and left. And I don't know how many of those are coming back. Right? Because Path of Exile 2 is going to be way different than it is today. It's going to be way different than it's going to be on Friday with the update. Because we're going to have, Friday is 0.2. Then there's 0.3. And I think there's even going to be a 0.4 before. And I think the next one is we're out of early access. I think. I don't know. The foundation that I thought existed in early access is always changing. The SteamDB numbers will be interesting on point 2. Oh, shit. Hey, Roast. Later. Ryder! What's up, Ryder? How you doing, Ryder? We're going to point 60 for sure. We're not going to point 60. Come on. I think we'll see a high percentage of return when acts are fully loaded, but I don't think we're going to have a lot of those new players return before then. No. So, Jonathan said, and I forget which interview, it was a recent one. Jonathan said he is definitely, so this is the early access numbers, okay? Poof, through the roof. It paid for the game, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this, but Destin did an interview with him, and he was asked, how much did Path of Exile 2 cost? Is it 9 digits? That's kind of how he phrased the question. And Jonathan's like, no, it's not 9 digits. He goes, what I will tell you, though, he didn't tell him the cost, but he did say to him that the success of early access made them profitable, made PoE 2 profitable, and also it paid for the development of Path of Exile 2. So everything that it cost them to develop Path of Exile 2 paid for, and then some from early access. So anyway, Jonathan said, here are the early access numbers. He is predicting that there's going to be a decrease in players coming on Friday, point 2, but he thinks point 3 and onward, we're going to see a constant elevation. And then he said, when we get out of early access, it's going to blow early access out of the water. This is him speculating. And I think that's built on some of what you just said, Kira, that, some of these people aren't probably aren't going to come back for point 2. But they're going to maybe see what's going on and maybe not come back with point 2, but keep an eye on it, and maybe point 3 grabs them. You know, who knows? We don't know. I wonder if Huntress is going to drive any sales. The class looks dope. Well, they were asked today, what class do you think is, you know, no, what class are you going to play? I think they asked. And Jonathan responded, well, people are going to play the Huntress. He thinks like 70% of the player base is going to be playing Huntress. So it's, you know, it's a new class. So players want to play new classes. Eurogamer article where Gigi saying only have 60% chance of releasing in 2025. Yes. Yep. Yeah, so in that article, Jonathan stated that, well, actually, I have the article, my video, and where is it? Here we go. So, let's see, do I got the right one? No. Here we go, yeah. So this one. Path of Exile 2's full release has a 65% chance of arriving this year, says Jonathan, right? So basically they pressed them on it right here. I pressed them on the comments afterwards to see how realistic full launch this year really is. I think it's quite possible, Rogers told me, but not like 90%. I think like 65% chance of getting it done this year. That's my current feeling about it. I have a schedule that will get us there. It's a question, can we actually meet the schedule? But he also goes on to say, if it's not December, it's going to be March. Should the game not make it out this year, though, we won't have much longer to wait, Roger said. If it wasn't December, it'll be March, kind of thing. Yeah, it's right here. Yeah. He also says in this article that there's a possibility that not all the classes are going to be in early access. We were led to believe all 12 classes were going to be available to us and added during early access, but he says in this article, if we didn't have 1 or 2 of the classes during early access, that wouldn't be the end of the world. So the goalpost keeps moving. I mean, like, I wonder if the melee range playstyle will drive some previously undecided buyers to make the leap. Oh. Any bets? I'll take the over close to March. So I have consistently said that the roadmap for early access ends in 2025. I've done a shit ton of Path of Exile 2 videos on my channel, YouTube channel, and I've always maintained that based on the information we had, and that Jonathan stated, ideally, and this was before early access, ideally 6 to 12 month early access, and we don't want to go past 2025, ideally. But fast forward to today and everything that we know, I'm not too optimistic. I have to tell you, it's 60-40 2026. So March 60%, December 40% right now. I gotta say I'm leaning that way now. Love Sherry, how are ya? Hello. So sounds like they have a hard deadline on end of Q1 2026, and they're just going to release whatever they have. Yep. Right. So let's run with Nexus comment there, okay? Let's say internally there's a hard target of March, okay? That's it. No point of return. We are not going past March. We come hell or high water, we're getting out of early access. Now, if you're a developer, what are you working on? You're not prioritizing. You've given yourself an out through this article. You've given yourself an out. If we don't have 1 or 2 classes during early access, that wouldn't be the end of the world. Literally, Jonathan just gave himself an out. Now everybody knows they don't have to get all 12 classes in for early access, okay? So hold that thought, put it in the back of your mind, okay? So now, also add, let's run with Nexus theory here. March hard deadline. Are you working on new classes? I'm not. I'm working on everything else. Right? Now, I don't know. They have 210. We also learned on another interview, I think, no, it was the Destin interview. They have 210 employees right now. You know what also we learned during the Destin interview? They do not allow overtime anymore in Grinding Gear games. Hey, Dan. Sammy deserves more likes and subs. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome. They stopped overtime at Grinding Gear games. It was getting out of hand. God bless the dev team at GGG. They're all so passionate, and they all wanted to, they didn't want to go home. They wanted to finish what they were working on, right? And it was a big problem, according to what Jonathan said, and he didn't want people to burn out. And obviously, there's a financial expense to that too. So there's also no overtime. They stopped it because it was getting out of hand. So if there is a March, like Nex said, I'm working on everything else, and if I can sprinkle a class here and there, maybe by the end of early access. Okay, so what do we have? We have 7 of the 12 classes. So on Friday, we're getting the Huntress. That'll make 7. Okay? There's 5 more to go. If I add another 2 before March, or 3, and leave 2 after that I can work on, and why am I saying this? They are behind. They're behind, in my humble opinion. They're behind. And I don't know if any of you have ever been on a deadline when you have a rap sheet this big of to-do list items, and it's already a tight, fast-paced deadline, and what you don't account for is fuck-ups. Okay, yeah, we can do it in 6 months, boss. Yes, sir, boss man. 6 months, we can do it. Yes, sir, boss man. Yeah, we can. And then the day starts that you're working on that project, and you're fucking already 3 months behind. So now you got to play catch up, but the clock is ticking. It's a shit show. You're running around. I've been involved with some major projects like this. Not on the game development side, obviously, where you don't sleep. I'll never forget. I will never forget. I was driving home one morning because I had been there for a while, and I'm driving, and you guys, I'm sure all of you have been through this. You're driving home and you shut down, right? You're just driving, you're listening to music, and your muscle, you're just driving, the road home. Well, that morning, my mind was just boom, 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 boom. To-do list 1, to-do list 2, but then 2's tied to C, and C's tied, and my mind just took over. And it wouldn't stop. I couldn't stop my mind. I literally, and my heart started like increasing, right? And I couldn't stop it because my mind was on overload. I pulled over and I literally sat there, and I had to physically breathe, like force myself to breathe. And I'm like, think of something else. Anyway, so everything was fine. It's literally 3 minutes, not even, right? Nothing happened. But my point is, that's what not to this extreme, obviously, but they have so much to do, and they're still playing catch up from all these things. Because you know why they're playing catch up? Because they have deadlines. They have to give content updates. They have to. They cannot give updates. They have to. So they're like, fuck, we got to launch something by March, April. So they pushed it to April. Should have been March. You know? Let's say they stay on current level. Well, let's say they stay on current level of development. That's 3 months per class and 5 ascendancies. So by that timeline, we're looking at 8 classes by March. Wow. Dude. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not discounting classes because class design clearly is very difficult because it impacts so much. I don't know if you guys remember, but WASD, when they put it, I forget which class they put it, they started with it and they had to go back and redesign all the classes because of WASD. Sorry, that was only last year and it seems like 20 years ago to me. But class design is clearly very intense and very a lot of work, obviously. So I think they can't focus on getting all the classes designed with all these burning issues. The end game needs to be fixed. I was gonna say crafting needs to be fixed, but I think that ship has sailed. They're very adamant. They have a system. They're introducing, you know, tiered ruins that we're not getting scouring orbs, guys. We're not going to Path of Exile 1 crafting. Jonathan does not want to, he wants drops to matter. They're adamant about it. They're not changing. Apologies if this is not the place. So I previously used to the user of certain substances, which I will not name, that whole addiction came about because of an overpromised deadline. We were expected to work in 2 months' time, so a little pep and a little extra work hours was the norm. Yeah. I'll let that one slide, Kira. I don't know what I know what you're saying, but July 0.3, Act 4, new class. October 0.4, Act 5, new class. March 1.0 launch, Act 6, 2 new classes. Yeah, Mage and Koba, there's a million ways we can do this roadmap. There's a million ways, right? What you're missing on your roadmap is everyone happy with the end game? I am super excited about some of the content we're getting on Friday. The Rogue Exiles look amazing. We're getting 7 new endgame maps. Awesome. Magic Find is getting toned down, which is scary. And you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but the thing with Magic Find is, and Mark said, you know, some people, like there's what is it called? There's a scale off, right? Diminishing returns. But they found Magic Find to give too much of the important currency. So they're toning that down. They're toning it down. So we're gonna get even, I don't want to say it. Rudy Locks. Yeah, I'm coming back Friday. Haven't played in months. Oh, right on, Rudy. Endgame is a garbage bin on fire right now. I don't know if it's on fire, but it's a problem. Drops to matter, but no crafting. So drops don't actually matter. Hunting unique drops is what matters. Yeah. Oh yeah, we were just like, that's my point next. This is what I don't understand. Who's floating in currency? Outside of the giga streamers that stream in groups and consume content at 100x than everyone else. Ooh. Who's swimming in currency? I had 20 mirrors. Bad players are bad. Almighty Justice, you had 20 mirrors? Fuck. Please enlighten us. Look, I'm not looking at myself. I'm an average gamer, so I don't care about that stuff. To me, I have more enjoyment just playing the game. I love learning more about the game. I don't care if I get a mirror, you know, mage blood, you know, and Path of X. Well, I do care, obviously. I want the good shit. But I understand my limits. You know what I mean? But to Almighty Justice's point, you know, some of the questions, you know, GGG was basically in a backhanded way, not rudely, you know, get good. That's another struggle that they're having. They want to keep the game hard, which I love. I want the game hard. I don't want an easy game. If you understand how to make currency in PoE 1, it's the same as PoE 2. Yeah. But if the drop rates are less, Almighty, I guess at the end of the day, you know, I guess in Path of Exile 1, you grind something 100x. What I'm saying is in Path of Exile 2, yes, using the same knowledge, you can't do it in 100x. I don't think. I think it's more like 400x, 500x, if that makes any sense. But again, I don't stand confident on that pillar of what I just said, because to me, I'm not out there. Oh my God, I want to make 100 divine. Don't get me wrong. Of course I would love to, but I'm still learning. It's not on drop rates. Okay. You're taking me literally. But whatever. I'm not the one to talk about this. I'm not an expert in it. Shadow Striker. Greetings from Brazil. Hi, Brazil. PoE currency gain is nothing like PoE 2 currency gain, not even remotely close unless you're doing dumb levels of trading. It's always trading to make high levels of currency. Well, there you go. Don't even go to trading. It's broken as fuck. Of course, there's people that are super trade giga chatters that know how to manipulate trade and are very profitable at doing that. Ron Jones, when do you think we'll get the Shadow class? Well, prior to the and welcome, Ron. Prior to all this new information, you know, I could have made an educated guess. Now I have no goddamn idea. I have no idea. Because my assumption, based on the information we were given, that all 12 classes were going to be in early access, that's out the window. Jonathan said, if we have a couple of classes not in early access, it wouldn't be a bad thing. So then that throws everything out the door. Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Shadow class isn't coming anytime soon. I would say, to Nexus point, because it's a Path of Exile class, well, maybe you could make the argument, hey, they already have kind of the structure of it in Path of Exile, so maybe it's on the top of the list. And you could also make the argument, well, they already have it in Path of Exile, so maybe they introduce it last because they want to introduce newer, classes that aren't in the game yet. I don't know. I don't want to hazard a guess, to be honest with you. Kira, as far as the class focus goes, they're probably mostly worried about Druid and Templar at the moment. Well, again, and this might have changed. I don't know if you guys remember, but we were told Huntress and Druid were the next two classes that were going to be introduced in early access. That was the communication. Huntress and Druid. Up to bat next. So we have the Huntress. But things keep changing. So I would bet $1 million that the Druid is next, like prior to us learning about, prior to the Eurogamer article. If we don't have one or two classes during early access, that wouldn't be in the world. So everything's out the door. I don't know. Is he staying true to Huntress and Druid next, or has that changed? Half of the equation has come true. Huntress comes Friday. So Druid comes next. If what he said in the past is going to stay true. But who knows? Druid is coming next. Highest likelihood. They were asked about RF Wretch's Fire and said it wouldn't be released till the class was released. And that class is way off. And not even 0.3, and the RF class would be Templar. There you go. Next, putting the puzzles together. That's it. Templar. 0.4 or 0.5. Sorry, Ron. I wish I had a more exact answer, but I don't want to speculate. If I were to guess, Druid is next. Obviously, we're going to see that in 0.4. Who knows? This all hinges on so many things, right? Like Chris isn't here, but he's one of my moderators on YouTube. And he had his account hacked 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was, 2 months ago. He put in support. And support, the protocol is grinding your games shuts down your account because they don't want any more damage. They don't want, they don't want any more damage done. And, a couple of days, 2-3 days, whatever, they investigate, and then, they get back to you and they say, okay, now everything's good. Log in back to your account kind of thing, right? Well, Chris has been waiting 2 months because the support queues are backlogged. They can't even answer and manage the support queues. That just tells you how far behind they are. The only thing they really committed to is that there's another class high priority than IRF class, which yes, Druid is much more important. Yeah, I agree. Look, guys, I know I'm honing in on all the negative stuff, but don't be mistaken. Doha! Sorry if I mispronounced your name. How are you? I'm doing good. Don't be mistaken. I'm high AF on this game. This game's going to be a banger. We are, unfortunately, we're on a flight, and it's a 10-hour flight, and we went up in the air. We're in cruising control altitude, and as soon as we got there, we started hitting turbulence as soon as we got up there. And everybody's like, oh, fuck, it's a 10-hour flight. This is going to be all turbulent. Are we going to get there? And what I'm saying is we're just hitting a turbulent patch right now up in the sky. And the sun, you know, clear skies is just right there. And we're going to get to our destination. We're just at a period right now where it's turbulent. But I have confidence in them. They're going to get through it. And, you know, I said this in a video of mine. 5, 6, 7 months from now. Well, I said 5 to 6 months. I'm going to keep adding a month. 5 to 6, 7 months. We're going to, you know, this is all going to be irrelevant because they're going to catch up. And when they catch up, they'll be able to focus and dedicate time to the big ticket items, and they're going to address them, and they'll fine tune them, and they'll fix them, you know, but this takes time. And I know a lot of people think that's bullshit, but that's my take. We'll know by March. This is barely the second patch, and we haven't even tested it. Every month in 5 to 6 months. Yeah, okay, next. Give me a break. Game's been out 3 months. 3 months. Give me a break. You're talking like, oh, the game's been out 3 months. Every month, 5 to 6 months. Okay, you know what I'm gonna say, just so you can't call me out on that. So what are we in? Okay, I'll even go back to February. Okay, February, March, April, May, June, July. July and August. This is all gonna be better and better. Okay, is that better? Third quarter. They're going to get out of these turbulent times, I think. But we'll see. The future is bright. You butchered it, but it's fine. We forgot that it's early access. Name one other game with more love and work in early access than PoE 2. Future is bright. Well, a lot of people... a lot of people have contention with the word or with the terminology early access. Some people think it's bullshit. You'll hold me to those words. I'm going to be right here, guys. I don't go anywhere. As the expression goes, I have receipts. I can't bullshit because my thoughts, my comments, my opinions are on my YouTube channel. So if anyone wants to fact check me, you go on my YouTube channel and fact check me. I stand by it. Like I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong on the Druid. I thought we were getting the Druid this Friday. I was wrong. But if I can defend myself, because I was under the premise we were getting all 12 classes in early access. And that Grinding Gear Games ideally wanted to be out of early access in 2025. So I used that information from Grinding Gear Games to create my opinion. But the goalpost has shifted in my defense. But I was wrong. I thought Huntress and Druid was going to come point 2, and I was wrong. Only the Huntress came. Mateo! Druid will be there for sure. Yeah, of course. There's too many people that love Druid. I don't know why, but no, I'm kidding. Everybody keeps forgetting this is EA. Ellie was in EA for 4 years. Yeah, before 1.0. Yeah, that's a good point, Almighty Justice. Yeah. You know, the naysayers are going to say, they've been developing this game for 6 years. You know, that's what they said about the game I don't talk about, you know. It's been in development for 9 years. There's actually so much information as to why we're at the state we are, just as 2 basics. 1, They had a major holiday directly after lunch. Momentum is still important. Valid. Very good, Kira. I agree. 2, they no longer do OT. That is going to make a much slower pace than previous. Yeah. Bingo. I agree with you, Kira. Big time bingo. Yeah. Absolutely agree with you. Yeah. But, Kira, I agree with you, and mad respect for outlining that. But who cares? That's GGG's problem. It's not our problem. You know, if I'm being, you know, if you're gonna give lenience to the studio, you got to give lenience to the customer, and we're the customer. So I don't care that you're behind. I don't care that you shut overtime. I don't care that you, and don't take me literally. Of course I care, but I'm playing devil's advocate now. These aren't my feelings. Well, actually, no, they are. With respect, though. No disrespect to Grinding Gear Games. It's not the player base's fault that they can only do so much testing and they don't know until the players get their hands on it to fully understand. Like, okay, well, then you'd better be able to deal with the ramifications when you don't get it wrong. And you know the schedule. Like, I've led departments and been the functional head of a lot of people. You look at the calendar, and if you got important deadlines, you're like, okay, are there any holidays around? Are we going to have any scheduling issues? Like, this is par for the course. These are things as a business you need to think about. And you have different departments, right? And in Grinding Gear Games case, you know, they have operations, they have developers, they have art, they have music, you know, yada, yada, yada. Well, you knew you were dropping on December 6th, back in October, like August, September, earlier than that, actually, sorry. So you need to plan. One thing that is strange is that months ago they said Druid was basically finished and we got a totally different class first. Yeah. Because the goalposts keep changing. So what are you gonna do? They're gonna get it right, guys, in my opinion. They're too good of a studio. They're too good of a studio, and it's unfortunate that they are where they are. And they took a major stumble, and it is what it is. December was delayed release, but okay. Well, it was delayed 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It says beta on PS5. Aren't they the same? I guess so. Yes. We can him and haw about it. They also said all the acts were practically complete. Yeah, they did. They did. I don't want him to turn out like the D4 Druid. He needs to cook. Well, that's just the thing. Like, Grinding Gear Games is not... Okay, I really don't care what map I'm going to do here. Grinding Gear Games isn't going to skimp out on that. Oh, it's shut off, eh? Fuck. I don't even know what I got on here. Let's just go. Exactly. And said Druid had animation problems. Well, they probably ran into issues. They ran into issues. What are you gonna do? Friday's gonna come. I'm super excited about it. Like, would I've liked them to have focused on other things? Yeah, but there's a lot of new stuff coming on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what I'm gonna be playing. But we'll figure that out once the patch notes come out, and I'm probably gonna spend the streams leading up to Friday launch, which I'll be streaming live. I will be live on the launch. But before the launch, we'll be figuring out what I'm going to be playing. And you wonder why game devs don't say anything substantial in interviews. If you're transparent and things got delayed, you get crucified. Hey, Jura. Super, super good point. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Although, I think in the case of Grinding Gear games, I think they're confident enough that they're willing to get crucified because they know what they're confident in their skill set. You know what I mean? And being transparent and over communicating buys you goodwill to some degree. And I think that's a currency that's very valuable in this business. Because as players, we are so what have you done for me lately kind of attitude, right? As players, that's how we are. What have you done for me lately? Like, the game sucks, I'm out. The game's good, I'm in. The game sucks, I'm out. It's what have you done for me lately? If I recall correctly, 80% was the number they kept throwing around for what percentage was done for stuff that was near completion. That's still 20% to go, but it's worded in such a way that just seems really close. You know what the problem is, Kira? The problem is, and again, I'm not a game developer, and I'm just going by the facts of the communication we're getting. It sounds like there's so many things that they're building, right? It's one thing when you're talking about acts and mobs and diversification in the mobs that we're fighting. That's one thing. And building assets, right? Like, I think Jonathan said they could build a zone in like hours now. That was a while back. That's one level of difficulty, okay? I would put it on the lower level of difficulty. Mob diversity. Okay, don't get me wrong. I don't want to simplify everything, but class design? Again, WASD, way back when. They put it on one class. They had to go back and redesign the animations and everything for all the other classes. So my point is, one thing changes. For example, they're working on the Huntress, okay? They're getting that all sewed up for 0.2, and okay, we can ride the Roa. Well, maybe they haven't tested it in other classes yet. So, you know what I mean? It's just, it's a domino effect. All these decisions, you think it's just on the issue you're working on, but then you go back and you're like, oh my God, that changes A, B, C, and D too. So they got to go back and they got to up, you know, like they were saying today, some of the audio with the minions, depending on the interaction, could like go wacky. So the audio person had to go and literally redo all the audio on whatever happens in the minions and shit. I forget exactly what it was, but that's just a little example of how intertwined everything is and the domino effects, right? So I think this is where the problem is, you know? It's like you turn over you turn over one rock and you find another 10 problems, you know? In all honesty, content is not the issue with PoE 2. The issue is core Yes. Bingo. Either don't work, don't exist, base game fixes, and the game would be 100% better than the classes we have. Nexus. Next. You're making my point. I agree with you. But what's easier to give players? New content or addressing core mechanics in the game? What's easier to deliver? Grinding Gear Games is very good at pumping up new leagues every 3 months. They're very good too at the core mechanics, don't get me wrong, but the latter is what takes more time. Especially on a game this big. Yeah. Also, core mechanics impact everything. So they need to sit down and iron it out. And when they do decide, they got to tell the departments affected, okay, this is what we decided on armor. Okay? They still even haven't talked about armor, right? They still have to have the meeting on armor. So it hasn't happened. They haven't had the discussion. Okay? Let's say next week. This is not what's going to happen, but let's play through this scenario. Let's say next week they sit down, Mark, Jonathan, and whoever else is in that room, and they talk about armor. Okay, this, that. Okay, bingo, we got a solution. This is how we're going to deal with armor. Okay. Bring everyone else in. And they bring in the affected departments. Okay, guys, this is how we want armor to be dealt with. Make it happen, right? So now it's got to happen. Right? Well, does it impact anything? Does it impact classes? Does it impact defense? Does it impact offense? Like all this shit, right? Dominoes. It's for Spectres. They have to check every minion if it's annoying to hear around you. There you go. Thank you, Jura. Thank you. Yes, it was around Spectres. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Content is only an issue for the 1% streamers. They can't maintain an audience blasting the same 3 acts over and over or a repetitive endgame. Content is only an issue for 1% streamers. Okay. Slim B Gaming. Not gonna lie, I'm very shocked that they haven't touched on the minion AI collision and the way monsters scoot targets around the area with fighting, considering the big announcement of Spectres. Are you talking about just how dumb minions are, Slim B Gaming? I didn't play my witch. I think I got to level 50. I mean, on the armor thing from the post Q&A, they don't have enough information to decide if they need foundational change armor. That doesn't mean we're not getting no armor change. It just means that they feel like it may require massive changes, and they don't know which way they'll go with that yet. Kira, I hear what you're saying. And again, I'm not saying Crip had all the answers, but literally 5 or 6 weeks into early access, Crip, did a video on armor, explained it, and if I'm not mistaken, he also provided some solutions. Now, I'm not saying they need to adopt it, but like, come on. I know these are tough decisions, but you know, body blocking with minions, meaning they don't attack when too close together and take. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're a zoning. That's what I mean. I'm sorry, I don't mean to use the word dumb, but yeah, they're stuck in the corridors. They're in other rooms. They're not with you. Like, I've heard it. I've heard it. Armor is weird because it does work as intended, as it does reduce physical damage. Yeah. Look, I'm not the armor expert. I'm just saying. By the way, can I just say something? While I've been yapping for the last 30 minutes, I haven't loaded into my map. What the fuck? I literally have been loading into this map for 20 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. Intel strikes again. Intel strikes again. I know what the solution is. You know, Jonathan said if you load an earlier version, the problem goes away. But fuck. Unbelievable. Anyway, whatever. I want to talk anyway more. Rip. I saw it. I wasn't going to say anything. It's all good, man. My PoE2 has been bricking when I log into character selection, login menu. Wow. Damn. That sucks, Slim B. Look, for those of you that have been here on a regular, I crash all the time. I have a 30. What do I have? I have a 3090. 3090? Yeah. So I feel bad for GGG. It's an Intel problem. Sorry, NVIDIA. What am I saying, Intel? Sorry. NVIDIA. I'm surprised none of you guys corrected me on the Intel comment. NVIDIA. It's a NVIDIA problem. Sorry. If they were to change armor to function like D3 as it reduces all damage. Yeah. Oh well. I don't know, guys. Like, armor in game. This is why there's a little bit of frustration, is because these things, these core mechanics that are important to some of the player base haven't been dealt with. And so I get the frustration, but you know, without trying to sound like a shill, like, it's gonna come. It's all of it will get addressed. All of it. Now, the NVIDIA problem, you know, who knows? So it's going to be really annoying if this continues, especially for me. And those of you that have NVIDIA cards, like, you rarely experience crashes from December to January. Nah, armor reducing all damage means what Sammy just said. They will have to go to change all kinds of things. Enfeeble, ascendancy classes, etc., etc. Yeah, man, fucking dominoes, man. It's dominoes. Every other ARPG has armor functioning without an issue, where both armor and ES, ward, energy, etc. are equally viable to stack with similar levels of EHP. Would it be fair to say next that some of those ARPGs don't have as a complex system? Or is that me just being naive? Like, the game that I refuse to talk about has a twig stick for a skill tree. So and they have damage reduction. and it's capped. It's capped at like 9,000. You hit the cap, you're good. Sweet gamer! You're not smart enough to say whether that's accurate or not. Armor is the only one of the systems that didn't have broken levels of scaling, etc. Grim Feast, yeah. We'll see how it's balanced out on Friday. Are you kidding me? That's going to be a nerf fest. Nerf fest. The question is, how much? If you noticed, the only thing they said on the live reveal was, you know, the things that you guys think are going to get nerfed are going to get nerfed. That's pretty general statement. Oh, you mean on defenses? We'll see if armor really is outclassed. Well, Nex was mentioning that notable on the Lich Ascendancy, that's gonna be really powerful. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, I think the Lich. You're surprised they're nerfing rarity? I'm surprised. I'm not. God, rarity is such a fucking Pandora's box. I'm a little bit worried about in talking about Magic Find rarity, whatever you want to call it. Well, rarity. I'm a little bit worried about their comment about they saw a high drop rate on the currency side. And they were toying around with a lot of different ideas of how to deal with it. So they're going to lower it. We'll see. It's going to make SSF way harder for sure. Hell yes. Yes. So I was going to play SSF again. I don't know after that comment if I am. I don't know. We have to see the patch notes. Energy shield can regen and mitigates all damage. Armor only mitigates physical and has no regen. Plus, armor can be broken. ES can't be broken. Crossbow's gonna get, so your explosion build is gonna get better. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna play this build again. Probably not. We'll see. I love this build. This is my favorite one. And it was Palestine made this build. I literally copied his build. It was a lot of fun to build, a lot of fun to make, a lot of fun to play. What are you guys playing? What's everyone playing? Fordham. Sup, mate? How you doing, man? Welcome. What's everyone playing? Have you guys decided? Next, you're playing Lich? Damn it. There is a post stating they're gonna remove armor breaks for characters. Karn was mentioning it. Ooh, well, Karn would be the one to know. You want to play with Sork using those Hunter Tornadoes. Look at Sweet Gamer, man. Totally embracing the Path of Exile 2 methodology of skills can be played by any class. Amazon and Lich poison explosion. You're waiting for the patch notes, Almighty? Yes. I loved how Mark referenced the Javazon today and D2. That was awesome. Amazon and crit scaling will be broken. I heard Ghazi got shut down about Auction House. Not sure what was said. It was a pretty quick interaction. Sweet gamer, man. Poor Ghazi. It was, you know, so it was, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm on like information overflow here, but basically Ghazi didn't even get the question out. He was like, on your Destin interview, there was talk about trade improvements, and I suspect he was going to ask, do you have anything coming down the pipe as far as trade and improving trade? And before Ghazi didn't even get halfway through the sentence, and Jonathan was like, I don't have any more thoughts on this topic. I don't have any more thoughts on this topic. And just shut him down. Boom. Everyone, I was like, wow. And that's the extent of it. Yeah, basically he said that's enough. I don't want, I'm over this auction house bullshit. Yeah, because everyone's auction house, auction house, auction house, auction house, auction house. Clearly they don't want it. Look, whether we like it or not. Mars! Sammy, I need some of that good kush. What's up, Myers? How you doing, Mo? Hey, Julie, auction house equals don't count as microtransactions equals RMT. Yeah. Welcome, Julie. Look, unfortunately, there's an ugly side to some of these games, and it's the RMTing. It's a whole fucking economy, man. Path of map loading. Yeah. By the way, guys, I've been trying to load into a map for, I don't know, half an hour now. I'm ready to get stoned. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to comment on the RMTing. Automate the website trade. You mean, well, haven't they kind of taken some of that A-zoning through the currency exchange? I know that doesn't deal with items. I get that. Let me give it that. Let me give me some more thought on that. Yeah, items is a big thing, though. Yeah, anyway. The currency exchange certainly helps. Well, it takes some of it, right? But I would imagine the majority trade is based on items. Crazy. Like, are there really any games that, and this is maybe showing my level of knowledge outside of ARPGs, but are there, when it comes to RMTing, like, aren't all the genres exposed to it in a way? I know more, you know, some more than others, but does anyone have an example where it was completely shut down? I don't, or at least I can't remember one. Really? League of Legends, World of Warcraft, RuneScape? It takes 5 minutes? Okay, well, thank you, Almighty. Then you answered my question, and I'm not going to talk about RMTing anymore. If I'm going to put that much effort into exchange rate trading, I'll do it with real currency in real life. Yeah, some people are rich because of that. A lot of people are rich because of that. It's so dumb flipping currency. You have to have a foundation, Almighty. Like, you have to have an economy, right? So when you have an economy, there has to be structure. $0.05 per divine versus 1 day and reset, $5 to $8 per divine every reset. Game over. Flipping currency doesn't sound like fun. I know that. Not in real life or in the video game? And currency flippers would be the reason why GGG thinks currency drops too much. Shit. Wow, that's a loaded remark. Next. Do you honestly think they don't know? That's why I don't talk about it. The system enables RMT. Okay. I hear what you guys are saying, but I'll be honest with you. This is one topic that I can't speak to. I don't know enough about it. I know what you guys are saying, but I don't understand the details and the minutia of it. Just because she set it up doesn't mean it's not a negative effect on the game. Yeah. Sweet gamer. Have a good one. You got to get up early. You got to be sharp tomorrow. Well, you better get your ass in bed. Have a good one. And sweet gamer man, you're going to be sharp tomorrow. I can feel it. GG's. Is it a supply and demand thing? Is it just like economics, supply and demand, and the impact RMT has on that? I mean, GGG set up Temporalis as Ingenuity Belt and self-procking heralds in Grimfeast. Are we saying that because they set it up? Well, oh well, that's fine, because GG... RMT and duplicates items. The system enables RMT, and duplicates items. Botters will buy up all the items and list for stupid prices. If a hacker duplicates any good item, it's how they break the economy. So that's Temporalis. Right? Isn't that what they did with Temporalis? PUE 2 economic theory class, now 99.9 a month. Botters will always exist. They exist now. Yep. Well, I am locked out, guys. I'm locked out. Exactly, but furthermore, day one, the resellers have millions of divines for any league available for real money. So they start the process right from day one. They just added the trade tab, so botters have to buy a tab every time they want to trade, but that's a minor cost. They can, yeah, that's nothing. Lennon Dove, what's up? How you doing, Lennon Dove? The trade tab isn't stop. No, nothing's gonna. Like, you know, RMTing. Only thing that's gonna stop that is permanent damage. Ooh, RMT discussion finally. I don't know if I want to discuss RMT. So it doesn't make sense to reset any league or economy. Only if your RMT makes sense to make you believe it's amazing to start a character over and over. Julie coming with the facts. So does it make sense to reset any league or economy only if your RMT makes sense to make you believe it? Hey, Rob Ball Guy, welcome. I think go on a website, request to buy. You as a seller get notification. Do you want to accept trade? If yes, job's done. Are you suggesting that's a way to out it? Like to stop it? If you consider RMT, there's so much wrong with the game. Makes perfect sense. I don't think you got. Do you like? I don't think that's 100% of the problem. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Lost my map. You know how many maps I lost? Fuck. Burning ground. All right, let's go get fucked here. Here's yes, because you can automate the buy. Ah, Rob Ball Guy. Okay. Can't stop RMT. It's an endless battle. Every live service game for the last 3 decades tries to reduce it as much as possible, but there's no solution except constant banning. Here's my thing about RMT. When done en masse, it's bad for the economy. But aside from that, I personally have no issue if a longtime player would want to throw money at a few divs, but there's no way to prevent the economic effects, so it's innately bad for the health of the game. I don't know. I'm pretty simple on this.
No mercy.
Oh shit. I have a pretty simple, doesn't belong in the game, in the story. So if you know about it, as a studio, you should ban accounts. Very simplistic way of putting it. I know it's a lot more complicated than that, but the solution is to exchange gold versus divines. They should implement instant buyout. They should have a middle road. Yeah.
Not yet.
They know, Mateo. I can tell you one thing, these RMT websites, they're very aggressive. Very aggressive. So like even small time content creator like myself, they're constantly emailing, you know, offering all kinds of stuff. And I can imagine like the big content creators, they're throwing all kinds of money at them. So it's definitely big business.
Not ready.
And it relies on players reporting the combat, but players eventually just getting onto it. Well, I have to say, I was really worried when there was that hacking going on and people were going into trade. And next thing they knew, their account was hacked and they were losing a lot of shit. You know, like gear was gone, and I have to say I stopped trading. RMT ruins all ARPGs and MMOs. Yeah, and I don't know, I guess it's a risk studios are willing to allow. I don't know. We done? Yeah.
Time is not on
Hey.
our side. What can I do for you?
What is it?
And I'm rusty.
Hello. On with the work.
A seed that will one day become a mighty tree.
Patience.
My favorite was when a well-known content creator slipped up during a four-way show and admitted that the Get Loner, Good Gear and PoE and League started and pay it off instant. Wow. Jesus.
I will overcome.
Oh crap, I still gotta go get my coffee. I totally forgot. I gotta go get my coffee. Abyss frights you only because Abyss is my favorite mechanic and it reminds me of it. I really hope it makes it. Well, who knows? Who knows, Kira? Still missing a ton of the game. I gotta say, like, the game looks very grainy.
Nowhere to run. Easy trophy. Don't mind if I do. Not ready.
What the fuck? Hey, Kira, no problem. Thank you for stopping by.
Find your lack of
Happy
faith
cooking.
disappointing.
God.
Yes.
One shot make you quit. I have no choice. It's the one death rule. That's the other thing that's the other thing I didn't get when on death effects topic came up today. I really didn't understand how Jonathan and Mark were really baffled. Like, do you have more specifics about it? Like, if you give me specifics, then... And I'm like... Really? Like, blood pools being there for half an hour after the mob has died. Don't even get me talking about burning ground. Like, who plays a map with burning ground? You have a good night, Kira. Thank you. You too. No, I get it, Next, but if you play the game, you know what the on-death effect problems are, no? Or just get good? And if you're a minion player, well, minion players have a problem with it because you have all these minions up, like the screen clutter is crazy. Get good. Yeah, I knew someone was going to say that. And to some degree, that is true, Julie. To some degree, that is true. Yeah, GGG. Yeah, exactly. GG's get good. We'll give you some extra visuals here and there, but in short, get good. Yeah. Yeah, like they were honing in on, you know, the explosion, I forget what they're called, the ones that explode. They're like, well, you see it coming from far away. It's not like a surprise. So, but it's not that stuff. It's the shit on the ground that, like, is there where the loot drop is, and whatever. I don't really care about that because whatever, you wait and you, but should we really have to wait for the blood pool to stop? Like the animation, like the mob died 10 seconds ago and the blood pool is still there. So you're stopping, you're waiting because you can't go through that corridor. I don't know. Whatever, get good. Get good. Well, in my case, that is true. But not in all. Like, you guys don't need to get good. Burning ground, the damn purple flower, archers, so many. Yeah, right. But that's my point. When they were asked the question, they were like, you have examples? You know, that's revealing. Almighty, I'm exaggerating. Nothing's 10 seconds. You're right. No, I don't take me literally. You know, it's a couple of seconds. It's not 10 seconds. I don't care. Their playing pace is also slow, though. They want to play slow. So in that regards, yes, on that effect is minimal. Come on. Do you really want a player not to move because of something that really shouldn't be there? The mob is dead. Do you guys know in trials, and I've said this, the on-death effects should be like that. The Trials of Chaos, where there's one area where you go in and there's that pillar and it's a timer and you have to mobs keep spawning and the timer ticks down and you need to timer to run to 0 and you go to the next phase of trials, right? Well, as soon as that clock hits 0, everything disappears. The mobs, all the on-death effects on the ground. That's how it should be when you kill a mob. Their shit disappears from the ground if they have any. Yes, they literally do want that. Okay. Okie dokie. I don't trade, just play. Are we still on the plane? I use a lot of analogies, okay? Sorry. On-death effects don't bother me, but I guess I'm numb from PoE for so many years. Well, you're used to screen clutter. And instantly dying from effects. So, yes. Now, I only started playing Path of Exile 3.21, so I'm very, very new to Path of Exile. They're stopping everything from zip runs. And don't ever get hit by them. We're still on the plane, Mateo. We're still on the plane. You started in the alpha in 20... Wow. Wow. So what are your thoughts? Almighty, can I ask you a question? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. What was your thoughts when they took resources away from PoE in order to have more resources on Path of Exile 2? Are you okay with that? Well, of course you're not, but a lot of people took it, hard. Wow, 2011. Jesus. 14 years. You mammy daddy. What a name. Hopefully the unique Bass Pro Shop fishing waders that negate all the ground Hey, what's with the fishing? They said that they already got their money, so it contradicts their statement. Well, definitely Path of Exile 2 is profitable. It paid for the development costs and then some. PoE is the best game ever made, in my opinion. Yeah, there's no denying that. It still is. My personal opinion is I love PoE and we have played forever, but I'm ready for it. Ah, you're ready for a new game. Yeah, of course. Of course. Like in my glorified world, and I haven't played as much Path of Exile as you have, Almighty. And I have a lot of people in this community that have played, are in the same shoes you, like they've been there since day one, or they have 10, 20,000 hours in the game, whatever. Ideally, I think Grinding Gear Games, they're making all these new assets in Path of Exile 2. Why not? Like I've said this in one of my videos, like Path of Exile 2, by the numbers, pure numbers, is just going to be the more popular game. Financially, player count, all that kind of stuff, right? But over time, they could elevate Path of Exile with Path of Exile 2. I don't think PoE will ever succeed at moving forward. But I think it's also an avenue to, you know, elevate Path of Exile. I don't want them to stop making PoE 1 stuff though for people that just enjoy the game. They should have pulled PoE 1 stuff into PoE 2, because right now PoE 2 doesn't feel like a new game, feels like a PoE 1 reskin. Just because they brought content over from Path of Exile 1 doesn't mean it's Path of Exile 1, but I hear what you're saying, Nex. There's definitely an argument for what you're saying. I personally think the combat is completely different, like way more engaging, and that's what they want. Julie, what are you saying? They got money to hire as many people as they need to make it a badass game. Well, they're up to 210 apparently. Streamlabs, what are you? Why are you being a you know what? They got, oh, ass. Oh, Streamlabs doesn't like the term ass. Sorry, Julie. Streamlabs is my boss. She tells me what to do. It's a sequel. It's a sequel. I don't know what it is. I can tell you one thing though, like this is very interesting times. Very interesting times. I wonder if they'll ever optimize the screen tearing. Mateo, they will. It's just, you know, they said they've continued to optimize and have done a lot on the optimization side. You know, that's stuff that is really hard to substantiate, because there's always, until it's 100% fixed, there's always people out there that are being impacted by it. So you say we're optimizing it, but some people won't believe you because they're still experiencing it, right? Like, for example, when I first logged in, I was on a loading screen to a map for 35 minutes, right? But they are continuing on working on that. You know, I saw a lot of comments today too on Tavern Talk that, you know, about optimization. You know, it's still a memory hog. Like, they need to optimize it. You know, I think one comment was, why do we need so much space for this game? Optimize it better, or kind of thing, right? So, but yeah, definitely the tear screening, the crashes, I can't remember how many fixes they made optimizing it, but they have done it and they continue to do it. Same thing with the NVIDIA problem, right? They're constantly working on it. They're trying to come up with more solutions. So unfortunately, I am impacted by it daily. Like, again, today, first day back in probably, I don't know, a month, 3 weeks, however long it's been. Playing Path of Exile 2. This is my first time in a couple of weeks easily, and boom, right away, can't load into the first map. Prior to that, when Early Access came out, every night when I stream, I was crashing once, twice. Like right now, I have a program up to kind of help PoE Crasher, I think it's called. So anyway, all right, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna call it, and just because I'm not gonna go through these loading screens. And a one-man game studio makes Schedule 1 without any graphics issues. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go have my coffee, and I'll probably come back and dump several hours into that game. That game is so addicting. It's the one of the most simplistic games I've ever played, and it's just, you know, it's unfortunate it's around making drugs, but like, I'm a business major, so I love anything about business and growing a business and all. So that, you know, I don't like the fact that it's about drugs, but it's just a video game, right? Still don't know how you haven't played Satisfactory. That game is doing extremely well. Yeah. You know what, Nex? I am going to tell you something here. So I knew the timeline of Path of Exile 2 was April 4th, and at the time, Last Epoch was the 2nd. So I literally had a week and a half, 2 weeks of, okay, I can try different games, right? Let me play something different. And Satisfactory to me looks like a game that I would like, but also something that I could get hooked on for a long, like, in other words, I don't know if a couple of weeks is enough. I don't know, maybe I misread, because I did look into it, because everyone keeps bringing it up. But like Schedule 1, like let me take a quick peek here. Schedule 1 has 95,000 people playing it. Well, 95,000 on Twitch watching, sorry. Actually, why did I go on Twitch? Why don't I just go on SteamDB? There's 312,000 players right now. 312,000, according to SteamDB. Hey, Rocksteady, isn't Schedule 1 still in Beta 2? Yeah, it's early access. It's early access, my friend. And I have 39 hours in the game. And my net worth is about 250 bones. I'm a big shot. I'm slowly becoming Sammy Montana. Let's see. Thank you everyone for showing interest in the game. Schedule 1 is a solo project I started over 3 years ago, and I never imagined the response would be this massive. It's truly rewarding to see so many people playing and enjoying the game. I'm really proud of Schedule 1 already, but I promise that there's a whole lot more coming. You can expect significant monthly updates for the next few years. You can view the roadmap here. Tyler. Jesus. Be interesting. Would likely get addicted. Yeah. So anyway, I was looking at I was looking at Satisfactory, but you know, I I looked at Satisfactory and I and then plus it's like 3 times. It was 3 times more expensive than Schedule 1, and I'm like, you know what? I don't got money to throw around, so you know, I don't know if I want to pay that kind of money for something I'm going to play for 2 weeks. But maybe in the future, who knows? They're releasing, yeah, let's see. Oh my God. Shrooms, fishing, weather, heroin, cartel, interaction and fighting. Property customized it. Wow, this game is just gonna get better and better. Gun range, parkour, more police interaction, bribery, different product forms. One guy, it looks like police evidence room, recovering confiscated items, shooting range interior and shooting range, and like, yeah, this is in progress. Wow. Jesus. Schedule 1 roadmap. Yeah. Unbelievable. It's very addicting, no pun intended. Like I said, I'm gonna go have my like, I'm probably like, you know, I would love to. The thing is, this is the deal about mixing content, right? Like, I would love to go get my coffee, load into Schedule 1, but a lot of you guys will leave, so I don't want to. Like, too bad it's about drugs. I wish they would have made this game same mechanics, but not making drugs, you know? PoE 2 can't wait. I imagine this will be a new game format. I love loving that content. I love loving that content. PoE 2 can't wait. Yeah. Well, PoE 2 is Friday. I'm going to be it's going to be I'm really looking forward to there's a lot of stuff, nice neat stuff that's coming in point 2. You know, the Spectras, the Rogue Exile, you guys know it all. You guys know everything already, but it's gonna see. We'll see. My hope is, hopefully people will log in on Friday, play it, and actually enjoy it, and maybe the rhetoric will tone down and people will start saying, okay, you know what, this is a little bit more game time for me. You got your brother and nephew gonna play at the same time, so 3 of us leveling together. Wow. So my brother played it, and he got one of his sons to play it. And every time I saw him, I would ask him, you know, what level are you? Last time I asked him, I think he was level 17. But the poor kid, he's so busy. He plays soccer and stuff. I seen a few good points from the interview today. Didn't watch it all, though. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that that came out. So Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was talked about today, but Magic Find's getting nerfed, yes. More diminishing returns. Diminishing returns. They talked about currency. That it was giving way too much, more of those items that they would have liked. So it sounds like they're reducing it. Thank God. Yeah, I don't know. I guess some people love it, some people hate it. Like it's still there, Rocksteady, but I'll file it under artificial extension of limited content. Slowing the game pace, slowing the item drop rate, slowing the combat, slowing down mapping. Well, one of the first takes people were having was, oh, this is going to be Souls-like. This is going to be Souls-like. So maybe that's, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to go down these rabbit holes. Until you find broken builds. I think Jonathan made a very good point today. He said, you know, having broken builds kills build diversity because everyone wants to play the broken builds. So he thinks by notching those down, like it sounds like he believes that over time the amount of broken builds is going to go down over time, and then that inherently is going to nurture build diversity. So we'll see. But I totally agree, like broken builds kills diversity in builds because everyone has FOMO. Don't get me wrong, there's people that purposely don't play broken builds because they like to build it themselves. They want to figure shit out. Don't get me wrong, there's a huge part of players that they fit that mold. That's the mold I want to get into. If you treat broken builds as peaks on a line graph, he wants to knock down the tall peaks and create more smaller peaks. Yeah, no, I get it, Nex. I got it. Even if they announce we know this is broken and we will nerf it incoming, I think, I'm going to tell you one thing, one prediction. I really think people, although they've said on the live reveal, what you guys think is going to get nerfed, it's coming, they're going to get nerfed. Like, that's what they said, right? I think the patch notes are going to be a rude awakening for a lot of people. I think. It's going to be a fucking hammer. I love to make currency of broken builds. Made so much currency of wands for Spark Archmage. Yeah, see, Almighty, you figure out what the market is, what it's going to be, and then you just go ham. Going to be a lot of crying. Yep. You took the words right out of my mouth. Next. Well, we're going to see. If they stick to the timeline, we're going to be getting what? The patch notes Wednesday afternoon. And, oh my God. I hope, please, no whining or crying, because I really would like to spend that evening picking your brain. So any of you chatters out there that are new to my channel and you like making builds, please come by Wednesday, because we're going to be going through the patch notes and I need help figuring out what to play, and maybe we'll go on POB and try to pre-planned something. I've never done that. Lots of whining, lots of crying. Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Okay, peeps. Thank you for watching. For those of you that are new, thank you for stopping by. My name is Sammy Caps. I have a YouTube channel, Twitch channel. I stream just about every evening right here. And we will be streaming the 0.2 update on Friday. We'll be here. I believe it's 3 p.m. my time. I will probably start my stream about an hour before, maybe longer than that. We'll see. But I'll be here, and hopefully, you know, Jonathan said he's predicting a much smoother update, Dawn of the Hunt, as far as, you know, any issues or whatever. So hopefully that's true, and we won't be having no 5-hour waits. But that was early access. That was crazy time. It's not going to be like that, I don't think, on Friday. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And please, if you're new, don't be a stranger. We're here just about every night. We play a lot of ARPGs, and the occasional, during the downturns, we play, you know, other games. Anyway, thank you. Have a good one, everybody. Good night.